It's been very interesting, very special to be amongst very creative people who are working very hard to share something of Sufism, and importantly that what we have, this noble science of tasawwuf, is a real face-to-face transmission from the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So by making films about this, I feel, and I hope, and I make dua, that it's preserving some of the light of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's a taste of the inheritance that we have from the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and of Maulana Rumi being in this incredible city. But importantly, that as so many people know, and of course he's the most well-read poet in America, but it's very important that people know that he's Muslim, because I feel many people don't even know that he's Muslim. So I feel part of our responsibility is to connect Rumi and his work to the Deen of Islam, and how his luminosity is a gift for all of us, by which we can share his words, but as an indication of Allah, because everything that he really said was a pointing to Allah. I've been to Istanbul about 30 years ago, and more recently as well, and it's in the most beautiful city. And when I went there, what really struck me was a friend who shared with me the history of the awqaf there, and how there was this extraordinary courtesy amongst the Osman of taking care of people, and the nature of their social welfare extended to feeding the birds in winter, to replacing crockery that servants had broken. And I was really touched by the extent to which adab in the deen can go, and you see that reflected in so many parts of the city. Of course, the extraordinary architecture is the most visible, but I feel that it's a great inspiration for Muslims and non-Muslims alike to know about the subtle and very visible aspects of the deen, which are glorious. I've always been somebody who really loves to share my story of becoming Muslim, because it's been such a profound encounter with reality, really, and at quite a relatively young age. And when I was about 20 or maybe 30 years older, I decided that I wanted to share my story of how I became Muslim, but really as a means of telling people about Islam, and as a way of inviting people to love of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, obedience to the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and love of Allah. So I used my own journey of becoming Muslim to be able to transmit the things that really struck me about Islam when I encountered Muslims. So the way in which we see worship, which maybe from a Christian background may be something that is dutiful, something that may seem as a framework or a shell which may have not really the spirit included in it, I wanted to express how it's really a return to the fitra, how it's a natural form for the human being, how Islam is really a clarification and a crystallization of all ancient teachings which have begun with Sayyidina Adam and have come through all the prophets and messengers up to the present day. And so within that, one can see that Buddhism, shamanism, Native American teachings have all originated from the same source, that the message has always been the same inwardly, which is that there's one God and that there's no God but Allah, but that in every age there's a transmission and a revelation of a new social contract. So I wanted to be able to share my story and to give a different perspective of the deen as something which is organic and real and alive, and it's a direct contract between oneself and the Creator. It's not framed within this context of being a kind of just another religion that one can choose. It's not about choice, because Allah chooses us. It's not that we choose it. So one of the most powerful teachings of that was when I first met my Sheikh Abdul Qadir Sufi. And I was very full of my journey. I just said the Shahada the day before. And I was full of passion about what had just happened. And I was speaking a lot. And he very courteously listened. And then he said to me very clearly, you must know that it's a wonderful thing that you have taken on. But you must know that it is Allah who has taken you on. And so this completely turned my whole self-concept upside down. And this is what the Deen does. It turns everything upside down. And so recently I wrote this book. Bismillah, it's called very simply Muslim, A Young Woman's Journey. And it's really an invitation to people who maybe have been in touch with the Deen but they're not sure about it, people who have left the Deen, people who are just inquisitive. And Bismillah, I hope, my intention is that it moves people's hearts as it has done mine. And I felt inspired to do it because I heard the ayat of Quran, فَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِثْ, which is, as for the blessings of your Lord, speak out. And so I felt this was a command for me to speak out about the blessings that I feel that I've been incredibly generously given by being guided to the Deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.